Every minute spent replaying imagined futures is a minute unavailable for the present. And, constant listener, when the present is unavailable, so are the opportunities it holds. Worry is concern amplified, looping thoughts of usually the worst possible outcome or outcomes when life becomes uncertain. But I think worry does something much more significant. Worry borrows capacity from the present. The more attention we give to imagined outcomes, the looping thoughts, the what-ifs, the less capacity we have to engage with opportunities right in front of us. I think the larger tragedy of worry, beyond mental exhaustion, is that worry makes it convenient for us to settle for a smaller life. Worrying doesn't expand our capacity, it limits it. While preparing for this episode, I watched a reel of a woman getting ready to tandem base jump. Listen, the trepidation was written all over her face, but I found myself focused on the instructor. He never gave her time to negotiate with her fear. He kept talking, asking her questions that required her attention, her preparation, and her movement. Every response pulled her back into the present. Sometimes it was a verbal answer. Sometimes it was a simple acknowledgement. Sometimes it was another step closer to the cliff's edge. Whatever he asked of her, it required her to engage with what was happening right then, not with what she imagined might happen next. Before fear could reclaim the conversation, he said, "I'm going to count down from 5. You're going to join me at 3. And when we get to 1, we're going to jump." 5, 4, 3. She joined him. 2, 1. And they stepped off the edge. I'll admit, most of us aren't worried about the what-ifs of stepping off the edge of a cliff. Most of the time, our worry shows up in ordinary moments, ordinary decisions, and ordinary conversations, like the phone call we don't make, the opportunity we hesitate to take, the decision we postpone because our minds are busy rehearsing everything that could go wrong. I think I've shared this story before. But after we lost our home, my oldest daughter needed to stay in our hometown. Her friends were there, her school was there, her job was there. But the entire time she was there, I was worried to death. I worried about whether she'd have enough to eat. I worried about whether she'd be safe. I worried about whether she would have the support she needed if something went wrong while I was driving. As a parent, none of those concerns were irrational. They were the kinds of questions any parent might ask. But the longer I imagined the worst consequences of an imagined future, the smaller my world became. I wasn't seeing the opportunities in front of her anymore. I was only seeing the possibilities of what could go wrong. Eventually, the opportunity to move to another city came up, and I was still worried about the same things. Nevertheless, we agreed she'd make the move. And constant listener, let me tell you, that move turned out to be one of the best decisions she could have made. She built a new life, found stability, and discovered opportunities that neither of us could have imagined while we were standing in the middle of our uncertainty. Capacity is the internal ability to meet the moment you're actually in. It's the attention to think clearly, the emotional space to respond instead of react, the physical energy to engage, the awareness to notice opportunity, the ability to remain present long enough to make a wise next decision. Constant listener, if your attention is consumed by imagined futures, your capacity is invested there, not in the present where decisions are made, relationships are built, opportunities are recognized, and life is actually lived. That's the cost of worry. So, how does one stop worrying? How do we control the wasps that have developed in our minds? I think a better question is, How do I recover what worry has been costing me? Well, sister girl, you don't recover a year's worth of depletion in one afternoon. You recover it one intentional deposit at a time. Every time you choose presence over prediction, you've made a deposit. Every time you replace an imagined conversation with the one you're actually living, you've made a deposit. Every time you rest instead of proving your worth through exhaustion, you've made a deposit. Every time you ask, "What is my next responsible step?" instead of trying to control the future, you've made a deposit. And sister girl, little by little, those deposits begin restoring what worry has been withdrawing. Listen, take it from me and the young lady who stood on the mountain's edge and jumped. Some of life's greatest opportunities you'll ever experience are waiting on the other side of your worry. I'm Dr. Hollis. Thank you for sharing your space with me on 1 Degree to Victory. Until next time, I love y'all.